Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm John Bachman. Joining me right now on the phone is Doug Schoen, political analyst and Newsmax contributor. Doug, it's great to talk to you again.
Thanks so much, John.
Okay, so we now know the source, the name of the NSA phone and internet surveillance leaks, a former CIA analyst and defense contractor named James Snowden. He's come out and he's claiming that he's done nothing wrong here. It's as if he's almost picking a fight with the administration. How should the Obama administration move forward as they deal with Snowden?
Well, I have deep problems, as do many citizens, with the whole nature and scope of this surveillance program. But I think Mr. Snowden has clearly violated his oath to the United States. This is certainly a hostile act, and I think deserving of investigation and arguable prosecution.
Well, opinions do seem to be mixed on Capitol Hill. Some say he should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We heard that from New York's Peter King, Congressman. Others say they're more measured in their response. Eric Cantor said that Congress is basically confused about how to move forward on this. Snowden is likely going to be a hero in some circles. What are the political risks for members of Congress who go after this guy too aggressively?
Well, the Republicans want to avoid overreaching. They want to appear being too extreme. On the other hand, if you violate secrets, if you violate your professional responsibility, you have to be held accountable. And I believe Mr. Snowden falls into that category.
In California this past weekend, we saw President Obama and Chinese President Xi Jinping have a little face-to-face time. Along with North Korea, the big topic, of course, was cybersecurity. How much does the NSA issue hurt the president's credibility with Mr. Xi and the Chinese?
Well, the president has made it clear that he had opposed President Bush's warrantless wiretapping, and now we see the breadth and depth and scope of his own program probably exceeds substantially President Bush's. So it makes the president look like a hypocrite and probably makes it tougher to deal with foreign nations like China.
Do you expect anything to change, and what type of reaction do you expect to see coming out of that meeting?
Well, this was an introductory shirt sleeves meeting. I think there was at least agreement that we have to make North Korea a nuclear-free nation. That's good. No real agreement on cybersecurity. That's bad. A first meeting, hopefully, it will provoke ongoing discussion about trade, currency manipulation, and overall relations between the two nations.
And specifically, what about cybersecurity? Do you think there is any willingness from the Chinese to work with the United States on a possible solution to this, at least publicly?
From what I read of the account of the summit so far, no go. I mean, the Chinese deny they're involved. We believe that there's state-sponsored cyber hacking and clear industrial espionage. And until we resolve those differences, it's going to be pretty tough to reach an agreement.
Let's focus briefly on the IRS investigation as well. This weekend we saw a little bit of a heated back and forth on the talk shows between Oversight Committee Chairman Darrell Issa, Republican, and Ranking Member Elijah Cummings, a Democrat. Cummings says if Issa released all the emails he has obtained from the IRS, the issue would be settled. And there's this also in these emails supposedly a Tea Party conservative who has actually been the one targeting conservative groups for extra scrutiny. Sounds strange, but what does this all mean for the IRS investigation?
Well, I heard what Congressman Cummings said, and to say that the matter is closed when you have people in Cincinnati saying it was a Washington operation and people in Washington and the IRS saying it was Cincinnati, and with Douglas Schoen having gone to the White House 158 times, I'm of the view that this is much more close to the beginning than the end. I think the Democrats have an incentive in wanting to close it down, but for where I sit, there are lots of unanswered questions.
And what it really seems like is that people and lawmakers are lining up here just really on partisan sides. If you're a Democrat, you say there's nothing to see here. If you're a Republican, you say there's much more to all of this. To the American people, it appears to be a very divisive and partisan issue. What does it take to get this out of that rut and get the answers that so many Americans are asking?
Well, we need bipartisanship. Hopefully on immigration reform we'll get it. I was heartened that Kelly Ayotte from New Hampshire is the first non-author of the bill to sign on to the immigration reform. So hopefully we can have some successful examples of bipartisanship that point the way for the future.
You just mentioned Kelly Ayotte coming out in support of the immigration bill. In some polls, her numbers took a little bit of a hit after she opposed the firearms control legislation, the Manchin-Toomey bill. Do you think this was her trying to gain back favor with some moderates?
I'm certain it is, and I would say that if what to me was an ill-considered vote on something like background checks, which are pretty non-controversial, promotes and provokes her to vote for immigration reform, all to the good.
And the last thing I want to focus on here are some recent editorials and news reports as if things couldn't get much worse for the Obama administration. And one might expect this after the Fox News and AP snooping ordeal. There's been significant backlash from both the Washington Post and the New York Times. In recent editorials, the Post came out and said Attorney General Eric Holder is not up to the task of his office. And the Times says the Obama administration has lost all credibility. How much attention do you think the administration is paying to these editorials, and what kind of damage control will they try to do, and how will this impact the Obama administration's objectives moving forward, both at home and abroad?
Well, huge attention. When the Times and the Post editorialize against the Democratic administration, gets lots of attention, that's for sure. Bottom line, in this case, you have an administration that has its agenda dead in the water, 3 scandals, the oversight by the NSA. This is an administration in crisis.
You said the administration is in dead water?
I wouldn't say dead in the water, but certainly moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, hard to argue against that. Doug Schoen, thanks for being with us. Pleasure talking to you, and we hope to talk to you again soon.